Hey, Alice. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Pamela. Hey, Cassie. Y'all all doing okay? We hanging in here. She's still laying down. We took her out, and she's still out. Hey, Holliger. So far, so good.
Finding qualified drivers shouldn't be a struggle.
It opens. The stepfather confirmed it, practically silent. Two children, ages 4 and 6, somehow dressed themselves, unlocked a gate, and disappeared into the Canadian wilderness without making a single noise. If you think that's impossible, you're not alone. Keep watching, because what I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you think you know about how children disappear. And if this grabs you like it grabbed me, hit that like and subscribe button. We're diving deep into a case that has haunted investigators for months. The call came in at 10:03 a.m. But here's the first red flag. Dispatch records show the disappearance actually happened closer to 8:20 a.m. That's nearly 2 hours unaccounted for. 2 hours where any version was true. Why did their own parents tell different stories about their children's baits? Awesome kids. Very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. Notice something chilling? He's speaking in major crime. This wasn't a lost children search anymore. It was a homicide investigation waiting for bodies. When reporters reached Malia by phone, she declined to comment. More importantly, she revealed that police had advised her not to speak to media. In most missing children cases,
9 on 4 likes. Come on, one's in the back. Hit that like button.
authorities encourage parents to go public, to make emotional pleas, to keep faces on television. Investigating. Lissa Jack alive. Daniel Martel's electronic devices told a story their owner probably never intended. Shoelace, not a strap, not a thread. But here's what really troubled search teams. Investigating. Lissa Scott, who provided trail cam footage, revealed that major crime officers specifically asked about her family's vehicles to rule out local traffic. But they also asked about any unfamiliar vehicles, any unusual activity, anyone who shouldn't have been in the area. Possibly they're wondering if they didn't go missing earlier, Scott speculated, or maybe somebody who isn't local to the area was around beforehand. The officer's response was telling. They probably should have been around earlier. Earlier than what? Earlier than May 2nd? Earlier than the 911 call? Earlier than the public knew children were missing? The investigation was reconstructing a timeline that extended far beyond the official story. They were looking for evidence of planning, premeditation, and cover-up spanning nearly a week. What emerges from this phase isn't a search for lost children. It's an investigation into how 2 children died and how their deaths were disguised as a disappearance. The rescue mission was always theater. The real work was forensic from day one. And everyone involved, from major crime detectives to search coordinators to public information officers, knew they were looking for bodies, not survivors. The question wasn't whether Lily and Jack Sullivan were dead. The question was who killed them, how they died, and where the evidence was hidden. But proving those answers would require something investigators didn't have: a crime scene, physical evidence, and witnesses willing to tell the truth. What they had instead was a community of silence, a family of contradictions, and a forest that kept its secrets buried beneath 4 square kilometers of thick, unforgiving wilderness. The hunt was just beginning. Every search and rescue expert will tell you the same thing.
I ain't no expert, but you could have come to JSV and they would told you y'all could have done had this thing took care of. No excuse. Been raining all day. It ain't rained here in about 3 days. Thankfully.
Children leave traces. Always. A dropped toy, a torn piece of clothing, a small footprint in soft earth, candy wrapper, a shoelace, something. In 40 years of missing person investigations, children aged 4 and 6 don't simply evaporate without leaving a single piece of evidence. But that's exactly what appeared to happen to Lily and Jack Sullivan. Over 160 trained searchers worked the forest around Gerlach Road daily. Volunteers took time off work, left their families, dedicated their lives to finding 2 children they'd never met. The search covered 4 square kilometers of some of the most challenging terrain in Nova Scotia. Think about 4 square kilometers. That's 400 hectares, nearly 1,000 acres. Searchers laid over 100 GPS-tracked routes, creating a digital map so precise that helicopter pilots could see orange markers from above, marking every tree, every log, every potential hiding spot that human eyes had examined. Amy Hansen, the search coordinator, described terrain so brutal it was injuring experienced volunteers. Hurricane Fiona damage from years earlier had created deadly deadfall zones, massive fallen trees creating tunnels and caves where anything could be hidden. Thick undergrowth made movement dangerous. Waist-deep water turned simple walking into life-threatening navigation. And it was tick season. Searchers risked Lyme disease, anaplasmosis, babesiosis, even Powassan virus. Fresh bear tracks were discovered daily. This wasn't just a search, it was survival training in one of Canada's most unforgiving environments. Yet these professional searchers, equipped with thermal imaging, drone technology, and decades of experience, found absolutely nothing belonging to Lily and Jack Sullivan. Lily's white backpack with red strawberries, the one Daniel
Now remember, in about half of that right there, they said that at first they had no bodies, and then they said, and then he said we're not looking for missing children anymore. He said we're looking for the bodies of Jack and Lily. He plainly stated. So let's see how accurate this is compared to what the children have told us. Hey, Lisa. This morning, I had to turn the heater on in the truck. I turned my air down low, and that evening I had to turn it back up. But it's crazy around here. I mean, they tell you it's going to be, close to 90 degrees, and then you don't get out of the low 80s. Which is nice, but of a morning when it's down in the 50s and that wind out of the north, I tell you what, you have to run the daggum heater. Hey, Mimi, this weather's unpredictable.
Or was bright enough to spot from 100 yards away, never surfaced. Jack's distinctive blue dinosaur boots, impossible to miss in brown forest debris, left no trace. Not a shoelace, not a strap, not a thread. But here's what really troubled search teams: the physics of complete disappearance. Children aged 4 and...
Now, he just said, listen how something is said. He just said Jack's boots And then he come up and said there were no tracks, no footprints. So what you trying to come up with, saying that they placed both his boots out there but with no tracks? Good cover up, wouldn't it? I like the fall. It's like I can breathe better. Me too, Sabina. I'm ready. That matter of fact, that's what I told her this morning we was going out. I said, I guarantee you we'll have an early fall. Yeah, I know for a fact I'm ready.
6. Don't travel far alone. Statistical data from thousands of missing child cases shows they typically stay within a half-mile radius of their last known location. They follow paths of least resistance roads, trails, clearings. They don't bushwhack through dense forest. When they do get lost, they leave evidence everywhere. Torn clothing from thorns, footprints in mud, displaced vegetation from their passage. They drop things constantly: toys, snacks, clothing items. They mark their territory like breadcrumbs. And most importantly, they make noise. Lost children cry, call for help, break branches thrashing through underbrush. They don't move through forest like trained commandos. Yet Lily and Jack Sullivan, a 4-year-old in soggy pull-up diapers and a 6-year-old weakened by illness, allegedly moved through dense wilderness, leaving less trace than professional military units. The search dog.
With Lily weak from symptoms. I think they're more going to try to speak on Lily's behalf than Jack's. He just don't know how to separate the difference without people noticing it too much. Loss of blood, if they were given some stuff to sedate them, so much, uh, that way it wouldn't be such a fight doing what they did. Or if maybe Daniel was doing like we was talking about, putting something in their cereal. They love cereal. And their drink has no taste, you know, um, over a period of time, it'll get you, you know, shut your organs down. What a lot of it they have tried to do was twist this thing around. And yeah, knowing that Daniel and Malaya and all of them is bad people. Uh, just hanging out. What are you doing? Um, they just twisted around. You see, like taking the heat and putting it somewhere else, for the kids. Like, well, I guess they just did. I mean, they didn't come right out and say this, but it would have been like in their mind. Well, they left because of the abuse. They left because they're tired of the way we was treating them. There ain't no way in the world they gonna say that. There ain't no way in the world they would have. But I've heard claim from so many stupid things. Let me do labor. Uh, you know, stupid things as far as, and they, with the door back there, none of that meant nothing. But they're anyway on their claim, 6 inches open. Uh, There you go. Uh, hey, love. Uh, you know, I've heard bear come in, got them. Uh, strangers come in, got them. Uh, they just ran off. You know, all just stupid junk like that. Okay, and now one blaming the other, and one doing this. What a lot of people are not getting is that with that testimony being said outright and them admitting to doing these things, they are not out here able to tell anybody anything. Yeah, everything, you know, is on them. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to be out to do a interview or whatnot. This is the end of the bucket for Malay and Daniel for sure, and uh, Numbnuts and uh, Logan and Justin could be just as guilty as the rest of them. Um, I'm aimed to sit down and write this whole thing from the bottom of the page to the top of the page and put it all in a good spectrum, the way it can be read out. And I guarantee you, these children have told their own story, and I don't know if it was just guilt or what, but when Logan started talking, Malaya turned against Daniel. Daniel turned against her, and now the family's been going at it, and yeah, they in the jailhouse. They when they when, when it was told that uh, Meadow should have stayed there so she could have got the same treatment, they didn't realize that the phone was bugged, and they told what went on. They even bugged in the house for motion sensing. And when Daniel got pissed, when she finally was putting everything off on him, on Daniel, he said, it's her fault. It's her anger. And, they stopped doing interviews, they stopped everything. Well, this one here is deep crime vault. Is what this one is. Yeah, and they they admitted to what happened. She just didn't tell the whole truth of what happened. Her deal is that she got, say, there's two different stories here. No, I take it back. I'm sorry. There's three. There's three. Yes, Ma'am Jean. There's three routes of this. Okay, what one thing that got told to start with was that, she screamed and hollered like she's never screamed before. And Jack, yeah, Jack accidentally fell down the stairs. Okay, there's one. Well, but also during that time, she said that Lily was laying on her bed with earbuds. I believe if she would have screamed that loud, that baby would have been out there finding out what was going on. So we know that's a lie. Yeah. And two, she said she went down to do some wash and said that he followed her down. Whenever I don't know, I guess while she was doing her clothes or whatnot, he fell. And he ended up at the bottom of the stairs. Then she told the tale that he followed her down, and when she got back to the top, well, he wasn't there. He was at the bottom of the steps on a blanket. And she panicked, and she had uh, Daniel and Logan to uh, put his body in a sleeping bag wrapped up in that sheet. And they admitted to this stuff. And then there was some confusion about Lily. I don't believe there was no screen toward Jack. I believe that, yeah, I believe that Daniel and Malaya was arguing, and apparently he used the bathroom on himself again or something. Anyway, uh, she was choking him and giving him a whooping, and yeah, and threw him around in the bathroom, and that that was the real deal. And if they're that easy to convince to do something such as that, to hide a body, I mean, they've done called off charges that they're getting. Hey, Carol, all they're waiting on is either Lily's behalf or for somebody to say something that's in that group about Lily. Um, yeah, but see, with this blunt, every time they'd use a bathroom on herself, they'd have to stand outside with the bottoms on. Uh, that's just terrible, and then get whipped with that as well. Yeah. So, you know, they've been telling half truths here, but apparently a judge has told them uh, their charges, or district attorney has told them their charges, but they're waiting uh, for something else, especially for Logan's spot, for what he did for helping move the body. And they already got him for tampering with a corpse. And now, when he numb nuts, he may already be in there too. I don't know. He's went and hid under a rock, or he's in the jailhouse one. And the Daniel's mom Malaya's mom, Cody's mom, they all could face a fine or even some jail time. Not nothing like Daniel and uh, Malaya, but still, they could get some. Um, I, again, all I'm gonna do is listen to something like this right here and see if it differs from what the children have already said to us. And I'm only going to believe the children, and that's it. Um, so if they start saying anything that I don't like that the kids has already told me, I'll call him out on it. I mean, that's just the way it is. Ain't nobody gonna go against a kid if I'm involved about it.
Dogs presented another impossibility. Scent trained canines picked up faint traces near the trailer and followed them into the tree line. Then the scent simply stopped. Not gradually faded, stopped completely, as if the children had been lifted off the ground. Dogs don't lose scent trails that abruptly unless something disrupts the trail. Water can wash away scent. Strong chemicals can mask it. But the most common cause of sudden scent termination is vehicular transport, when subjects are moved from walking to riding.
This is what I made by playing 2 games on Cash Kick. It's
to riding, but no tire tracks marked the soft forest roads. No vehicle signatures appeared in the mud from recent rains. The scent trails ended in empty air, defying every principle of canine search and rescue. Thermal imaging technology added another layer of impossibility. Forward-looking infrared cameras attached to drones can detect body heat signatures even in dense forest. Living children generate consistent thermal signatures. Decomposing remains create different but detectable heat patterns. The forest showed neither. Search coordinator Amy Hansen explained the technology's limitations. Tree canopy can obscure thermal detection, and warm weather creates background heat that masks human signatures. But children who'd been missing for days would still generate detectable thermal differences. Unless they'd been moved far from the search area. Unless they'd been concealed in ways that completely blocked thermal detection. Unless they were no longer generating any heat at all. As May stretched towards summer, the search efforts began revealing their own story. Teams were following up on tips that made no logical sense. Searchers were being sent to locations based on information that couldn't be verified. Resources were being deployed reactively rather than strategically. The tip line had logged over 180 calls, but most led to dead ends. People thought they'd seen children who looked like Lily and Jack hundreds of miles away. Others reported suspicious activity from weeks earlier that had nothing to do with missing children. The few legitimate leads created more questions than answers. Why were investigators requesting trail camera footage starting April 27th, 5 days before the children were reported missing? What did they suspect had happened earlier than the official time?
How many times you got to say this? They went missing then. They didn't go missing on the 1st and the 2nd. I mean, even the school tell you that. There ain't nobody seen them 5 days, up to 5 days prior before the 911 call. Hey, see, people need to start paying attention. Yeah, I'm gonna get in on that, Pamela, about them 2 twin girls. I'm gonna see what we can do about that.
Fine. Lissa Scott's cameras covered multiple angles of Gerlach Road. If children had walked that route on May 2nd, the cameras would have captured them. If vehicles had transported them, those would be visible too. But RCMP major crime officers weren't just interested in May 2nd footage. They wanted everything from 5 days earlier, suggesting they suspected the actual events had occurred much sooner than reported. They probably should have been around earlier, the officers told Scott when she mentioned being glad to see them canvassing the area. Earlier than what? Earlier than 5 days into a missing children case? Earlier than when the children were reported missing? The admission suggested investigators knew they were working with a false timeline from the beginning.
I mean, I've been telling this from day one. Yeah. Everybody tries to do everything backwards and give false narratives. It would be different if they would take these people, put them in jail, and say, look, when we find Summer, then you might have a chance to get out, depending on how she passed away. The same way with these right here. If I could change any law, this is what it would be. You're going to sit here in the jailhouse until your children come up. You can sit here and rot for all I care. But if you want a chance of getting out of here, you show me where these kids are. Then they'll get to talking to you. It might take a minute, but when they start realizing, hey, my life could be over, they'll talk. They don't nobody in prison care for anything that has to do with fooling with a child. You know, a lot of time people, on death row don't get to go to the death chamber because they get killed ahead of time. Yeah. And that I know that's what would happen with these bunches right here. Yeah, they they don't know what they're pretty much charged with, Malaya and Daniel. They're charged with, well, whenever they do what they do with Lily, it'd be two counts of manslaughter. They said it was impeding on an investigation or something, however they call that, and tampering with evidence, misstruding people on a search that didn't exist. So they're getting in trouble for that as well. I don't blame them. One of them fellers got a stick plumb through his leg out there looking for them kids. And them just sitting around, her hiding and him walking up and down the road worried to death. But for some reason, Logan couldn't keep it a secret. Yeah, I mean sometimes you just have to light a fire under somebody to get them motivated. If you put the fear of God in them, they'll start talking. But that is, yeah. I mean, they're gonna get the max up there, whatever Canada gives them. And by that time, the world probably gonna end way before then anyway. So as long as they in there, they can't hurt no more children. Uh, but as far as for Logan, Daniel, Malaya, um, could be Justin, but now I don't know. And Numbnuts, Durwood. Uh, I don't know if they've caught him yet or what, but um, them I know are in the jailhouse and will not be getting out. Yeah. Mm, like I said, on any of these that we do, any of them, whenever it comes out, prayingly prayingly then, some people will stop turning a deaf ear to these children and start listening. Oh yeah, well, at least within the first month, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Michael Arnfield, a criminologist from Western University, reviewed the case details and delivered a professional assessment that cut through all speculation. When you put this case next to 100 other missing children investigations, it doesn't add up. Former Detective Michelle Jeans was more direct. Something about that missing 48 hours doesn't sit right.
Right.
It could just be horrible coincidence, but
No,
what? But
no.
experienced investigators recognize patterns that don't match natural disappearances. But statistical analysis shows this case falls outside normal parameters. But every single element of the official story contradicts established behavioral science about how children go missing. The search technology revealed its own contradictions. Thermal imaging works best in winter when human body heat contrasts sharply with cold environments. But as spring moved toward summer, the forest itself began generating heat signatures similar to human bodies. Trees, rocks, decomposing organic matter, everything retained warmth that confused the equipment. A thermal signature that might indicate a child could just as easily be a sun-warmed boulder or rotting log. But there's another explanation for thermal confusion that no one wanted to discuss publicly. Recent burial sites create distinctive heat patterns as decomposition occurs. Bodies buried in shallow graves generate thermal signatures different from living children but also different from natural forest features. Were the thermal imaging drones detecting decomposition heat? Were the false positives from warm rocks actually evidence of disturbed earth? The technology that was supposed to find living children might have been detecting their graves. Amy Hansen's final status report carried the weight of defeat. We wanted to come back with fresh people and cover more ground. We haven't resolved the situation yet. But the resolution wasn't hiding in the forest. It wasn't buried under fallen logs or concealed in bear dens. The evidence investigators needed was hidden in human behavior, digital records, and the spaces between contradictory statements.
And the truth about being in a basement. Like I said, I don't know where. All I know is that's what the children told me. And a week or two later, we started hearing about a basement. So I have no idea, but Malaya admitted to it. And then that's when she run off with her friends. This this here is just it's a tragedy, no matter which way you look at it, with everything and everybody involved in it. This is a tragedy that these two babies had to endure. Um, and her words was, if we don't, it will ruin everything. You know, they right now. Let me just say this: it don't make no difference if you're from the south or from the top of the north. If say you seen or they come around and give you a piece of paper telling you there's a sex offender in the area that lives there now, and you was to see him out there talking to your child, what you gonna do? You gonna go out there and stop it. If he tries to stop you from stopping it, then there's gonna be a conflict. Well, even up in northern places, they are still people that's kind of like us down here. You know, if the right person seen them out in public, that'd be it. But then, wouldn't be getting no justice for Jack and Lily. So the best place for them, yeah, is behind bars. I mean, they're not going to get away with it either way. Sometimes these things take years, sometimes months, whatever. Hey, Judy. Um, yes, yes. Um, it just they ain't no getting out of this. No, none whatsoever. That won't work.
By May 17th, over 115 volunteers conducted final searches of key zones near Gerlach Road. They worked into the evening, flashlights cutting through darkness, voices calling names that would never be answered. Hanson's last statement felt like a funeral. We don't anticipate continuing tomorrow. The ground search was over, but the investigation was just beginning. The forest had been asked its questions and had given its answer. Whatever happened to Lily and Jack Sullivan didn't happen in the woods. It happened before they ever left that trailer. It happened in those missing 72 hours when no independent witnesses could confirm they were alive. It happened in a house where silence was convenient and contradictions were normal. The forest had been searched exhaustively, digitally mapped, thermally scanned, and physically examined by hundreds of trained professionals.
But now, remind you not. Now, according to this one here, Jack's boots was out there somewhere in the woods, but there was no footprints, so they were just placed there. So we know about Jack already. Them when they maybe 3 or 4 days after mentioning they found bloody underwear that belonged to Lily. That's not got mentioned anymore. A lot of people are wanting to overthink things instead of sitting down and just listening to it out. These kind of things like this right here was a setup, a stage to kind of like, okay, I can do this, I can do that, and I'm smart. You're not going to catch me. That's exactly the way he was thinking. But in all reality, he dumber than dirt. But RCMP has sent them things off for a DNA analysis. The blanket, the the sock, something else. Yeah, I forget what else now. Um, but anyway, all that stuff was only mentioned for a very short time, and that's because it got sent, you know, to be checked. All that stuff that we've heard about in the beginning from the only from the searchers. That is the stuff and evidence that they will use in court. Now, each time they would come back, they would find something new. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Because they done said that you know they found Jack, um, but they also said that they uh, found some fibers of a coat that uh, Lily had put on or something. I don't know. And then the grandma was caught seen wearing it, or they may have just wrapped it around her. I don't know, on a cold day or something. I don't know, but something about a coat. Um, but they've got her DNA off them panties, and then they got DNA off that sock. Um, they got her DNA from her and a match fiber to her blanket. So that ruled out the bear coming in and getting them and taking them up in the tree. Um, there's there's something there's some reason why Lily is not saying where she's at. I I don't know if she thinks that if she tells where she's at, that they will find her before authorities will. And I've thought about this a lot and hard. Or she either just plain out honestly don't know where she's at. I mean, you take a 6-year-old kid, any of you, you take a 6-year-old kid and take them down some old back roads, they're not going to know where they're at. And I'm sure they wouldn't setting up in the seat. But with her sounding happy when she said he's here when we was talking about Jack, you could hear the happiness in her voice that I'm sure you never did hear at home. I don't know if it might have been that. It could have been a lick on the head that's caused that. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop trying. I'm still going to be asking. Yeah, they did. They got DNA from the trailer and the camper, and Some of Jack and Lily's toys started moving around in the living room there, I guess, while Daniel was there. And anyway, he got up and cut out. He couldn't handle it. So, I mean, oh well, he has to deal with it. So, yeah. Well, he's now a believer, that's for sure. Very well might be, Alice. Very well might be. I don't know, but they're waiting on something, or this would have already went to court. This here's will be probably a speedy trial because they've waited so long, but they've got so much evidence uh, gathered from the trailer and the camper, and I'm figuring a lot of DNA and whatnot in that shed as well. I figure they burnt all the sheets and pillowcases and or pillows and everything else. May have even burnt mattresses. I don't know yet. But said they had a way they talked and said it was stupid. That said she tried to dry his shirt so it wouldn't have that smell on it. But then said that they went out and burned it. I wouldn't go through the trouble of trying to get the smell out of something by drying it and then go burn it. That's stupid. And how in the world are you going to get a smell of death out of something in a dryer? A dryer sheet ain't going to cut that. And a dog that picked it up like that right there, a cadaver dog could. And that's what they knew. And they talked about it here. I mean, I'm not giving up on these children. I will not do it. That's right. That's right.
If 2 children had died there naturally, some evidence would remain.
Look, if you're over 45 and can't work because of your health, there's a real easy way to see if you can get up to $3,822 a month and just...
This would remain. The complete absence of trace evidence didn't prove innocence. It proved concealment. Someone had made sure Lily and Jack Sullivan would never be found, and that someone knew enough about evidence disposal to fool some of Canada's most sophisticated search technology. While search teams combed through forest undergrowth,
but wherever that old bridge is, and I do not know. I don't know the name of the old bridge. I just know what it looks like. Yeah. That up that way, up in some trails, is where they found a skull and ended up finding some more stuff in a sleeping bag. And it come out to be Jack's. I don't know if maybe that may be why That's right. That's right. There's no way that I'm giving up on it because you know Durwood could be on the run. You know, because he told too daggum much. And you're right, Sabina. We have got stuff in the past that they just last week or so started talking about. Hey, there you go. What sounds good too. But really and truly, this this would be worse than elderly people getting abused at a daggum nursing home. It's this is this is terrible. Yeah. Uh, Apparently, that old bridge just hasn't been used for a long time, and I guess it just runs into gravel and then it comes up into a wooded area and there's trails there. I don't know. But what I did see is the bridge. And it looked like maybe 50, 60 yards from it. Um, I need to walk in it. Uh, this, you know, y'all, every one of us, is our hearts and everything is for summer. And you know, we talked about this for years and years now. That it ain't only summer. There's children as we're speaking getting treated this way, and I'm getting things here that they don't even have. You know, um, like I didn't even there for a while. I didn't even know nothing about no Justin person. And the other night is the first time I heard it come through the spirit box. Uh, and I played it back, and we heard it again, and I wrote it down. It said, Jesse, whoever Jesse is, and Justin, and then wet herself, spanked. Yeah, glad to be done with me. And ain't that some crap? Go in like a pigeon and come out walking like a one of them things over in the cold water. them, Lord have mercy, my mind went blank. Um, Penguins, water like a penguin. Yes, sensitive topics. Um, and see, like just small things like, red shirt, burnt my shirt. Think little bitty things like that being told before it ever even comes out to the public. I wish for one time that someone would take the time to listen to children's. Good night, Kathy. But yeah, I'm gonna write all this on a new piece of paper, and I'm gonna start on the bottom and go to the top. And that way it'll make full sentences.
Parallel investigation was dissecting every digital footprint left by the adults who'd last seen Lily and Jack alive. Daniel Martel's electronic devices told a story their owner probably never intended to share. GPS data from his phone revealed exact locations and timestamps for every movement he'd made. Bank records showed financial transactions that could verify or contradict his timeline. Call logs exposed who he'd contacted and when. Google Maps searches might reveal locations he'd researched, including potential disposal sites. But Daniel had volunteered all of this information. He'd handed over phones, tablets, computers, even bank account access. Either he was supremely confident in his innocence, or supremely confident in his ability to clean digital evidence. The cell tower analysis became particularly crucial. In rural areas like Landone Station, cell coverage is sparse and specific. When devices connect to towers, they create precise location stamps. Any phone that had been...
Now, don't forget, the other day they said that there was about a 2-hour gap there where he turned his cellular device off. And then when it got turned back on, it pinged about, what they say, about 2 or 3 miles from home, something like that. Yeah.
In the area during the critical time frame would have left digital fingerprints. Investigators weren't just tracking Daniel's movements. They were identifying every unknown device that had pinged nearby towers between April 29th and May 2nd. If strangers had been in the area, if abductions had occurred, if vehicles had transported children, the cellular network would remember. But the digital evidence painted an even stranger picture than the physical search. Daniel's Google Maps history, which he'd voluntarily provided, showed repeated searches of local roads and trails, normal for someone living in rural isolation. But investigators were looking for specific searches: lakes, bridges, abandoned properties, areas suitable for concealment. His phone's location data created a minute-by-minute map of his movements on May 2nd. If he'd driven children somewhere, disposed of evidence, or met accomplices, the GPS breadcrumbs would show exactly where and when. The fact that he'd offered this information suggested either complete innocence or sophisticated evidence destruction. Digital forensics experts were tasked with determining which. Meanwhile, the polygraph test Daniel had requested became its own source of investigation. Polygraph results aren't admissible in Canadian courts, but they serve investigative purposes. They can reveal deception patterns, identify areas for deeper questioning, and sometimes break suspects psychologically. Daniel later claimed he'd taken the test and that results would go good in my favor. But polygraph interpretation is complex. Passing doesn't prove innocence, and failing doesn't prove guilt. The real value lies in how subjects respond to specific questions and what those responses reveal about their knowledge. What questions did investigators ask? How did Daniel respond to inquiries about the children's actual time of death? About his activities during the missing 72 hours? About his
actual time from the kid's death. He didn't just say time from when your children went missing. Time from your children's death. See what I'm talking about? You got Listen to how it's been said. Yeah.
Knowledge of what happened to their bodies? The fact that he'd volunteered for testing suggested confidence, but
he admitted to it. That they took him out there, and that's right where they said they put him. That's where they found him. Okay, be careful. So, just think about that for a minute. When he was asking that question, he did not, and I repeat, he did not say when your children went missing. He said when the time your children died. And there is a difference there. So, but that's my way of listening to something. I listen to how it's said.
confidence in what? That he could control his physiological responses? That the questions wouldn't uncover dangerous knowledge? That he'd prepared thoroughly enough to pass? Or that he genuinely had nothing to hide? Social media analysis became another crucial component. Digital investigators examined Facebook posts, Instagram activity, messaging apps, anything that might reveal state of mind, planning, or communication with others. Both Daniel and Malia's social media activity in the days leading up to May 2nd was scrutinized for signs of stress, unusual behavior, or coded communications. Had either parent been researching child disappearances, looking up search and rescue procedures, investigating how long bodies take to decompose in forest environments? The timeline reconstruction revealed disturbing patterns. Daniel's work schedule at the lumber mill was sporadic, 1 day a week, unofficial hours, minimal oversight. He had significant unaccounted time in the weeks before the disappearance. His financial records raised questions about how he supported a family of 5 on minimal income. Were there
myth? Hello? Myth.
Reported income sources? Cash transactions?
That's why she said it would ruin everything.
That might fund criminal activity? Unusual expenditures in late April that could be connected to planning or cleanup. But the most chilling digital evidence was what wasn't there. Between April 29th and May 2nd, both parents had minimal digital activity. No social media posts about sick children. No research about child illness symptoms. No communication with schools about absences. For parents of young children, digital silence usually means crisis management. They're dealing with emergencies too serious for social media. They're focused on situations too sensitive for documentation. The absence of normal parental digital behavior during those 72 hours suggested something terrible was happening that they couldn't risk documenting. Malia's phone records became particularly significant when investigators realized she'd been advised by police not to speak to media. This isn't standard protocol for missing children cases. Usually, authorities encourage parental media engagement to generate tips and maintain public attention. The silence order suggested investigators believed public statements might compromise their case. But compromise how? By allowing suspects to coordinate stories? By revealing evidence that could be destroyed? By alerting accomplices who might flee? Or by preventing parents from accidentally confessing?
I don't believe it. I do not believe nobody told them don't talk to nobody but their mommy.
On camera. Digital forensics revealed another troubling pattern. The family's isolation wasn't accidental. Moving to Daniel's remote property had effectively severed Malia's digital connections with her First Nation community. Her online presence had gradually diminished after relocating. Social isolation often precedes domestic violence escalation. Abusers systematically disconnect victims from support networks, making them dependent and vulnerable.
Don't just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at PurdueGlobal.edu.
Try Swear Therapy.
Oh, get off.
Or download Life 360.
and vulnerable. Digital analysis suggested this pattern had been developing for months before the children disappeared. Trail camera footage from multiple neighbors created the most comprehensive surveillance network investigators had ever assembled for a missing children case. Cameras captured every vehicle movement, every pedestrian activity, every animal that crossed Gerlach Road during the critical 5-day window. But cameras also captured what didn't happen. No small figures walking hand in hand down the dirt road. No children struggling with gates or climbing fences. No family members frantically searching on foot during those first crucial hours. The digital record contradicted every element of the official story.
The only truth that Daniel said was that we all sat there and decided what to do to discard of the evidence. And that they waited till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to move the body. That is the only truth so far that's ever come out of his mouth. And his mom saying she didn't know nothing about it. And when these kids are talking about the closet, look, if them kids were put in a closet, just like they said they have been, rigor mortis would set in, decomp, and they would be able to know if they cut part of the floor out, carpet up, whatnot, because of body fluids. There was a reason why they waited nearly a week before they called 911. I mean, come on. Common sense goes a long way when used. And at the time, they wanted to come back in and do another investigation in the house and the camper. No. Because they was making daggum sure that they tried to get every bit of evidence out of that house, out of them trailer and camper. Now, they have said that multiple times, in the closet. If that was the case, and I'm not going to doubt the children's word a bit, it would have a death smell within 48 hours. You would really be able to tell it. Another thing that they're not speaking of is that they have said that the children have been dismembered. Again, we don't know if that was by them or if it was by an animal. If it was done by them, more than likely out there in the shed. And if they were any overturned dirt in that shed, there could lie the DNA, blood from them children. There's so many things that they talked about in the beginning that they're not even saying anymore. In a case such as this, it should never change, except for more evidence. It shouldn't go up and then everybody just turn it down. RCMP is waiting on something, I'm telling you. Or this thing would have done been over. And it either has to do with Lily or they're just waiting for something to come back. that's been sent off. Hey, Joni. How you tonight, this evening?
Most damning was cell tower data showing exactly which phones had been active in the area and when. The technology could determine if devices had been moving at vehicle speed versus walking speed. It could identify calls made during alleged search activities. It could prove whether parents had actually been searching or had been engaged in other activities entirely. What the digital investigation revealed wasn't evidence of abduction by strangers. It wasn't proof of children wandering into wilderness. It was evidence of careful planning, systematic deception, and coordinated cover-up by people who knew exactly what they were doing and when. The electronic breadcrumbs painted a picture of adults with something to hide, using technology to create false alibis while destroying evidence of their real activities. But digital evidence alone wouldn't solve this case. Investigators needed something more powerful than GPS coordinates and cell tower pings. They needed someone to break, someone to confess, someone to reveal where Lily and Jack Sullivan's bodies were hidden. Because by now, everyone involved knew that's what they were really searching for.
Now, if RCMP had any other chances or even a remnants of something that potentially could be good on the kids' behalf, that wouldn't have been said right there. At that point in time, RCMP is saying, we're not looking for missing children. We're looking for their bodies. A lot of people don't break it down when they start talking like this right here. But if I catch somebody pulling out of line, I'm gonna correct it. Now, as you know, RCMP does not want to make any other fatal mistakes. And them using terms of not looking for missing children, looking for the two bodies. The only way, and I mean the only way, that RCMP would have said that would because they know it's not anything else possible. Somebody once told me, said that one of the dogs, I don't know if it's a cadaver dog or just one of the hounds, I don't know, they said it wouldn't even go into the bathroom or past the bathroom. But see, this person here is okay so far, but he's telling what RCMP has said. And when it changes from a missing person to looking for their bodies, they know there's no such thing as missing person search anymore. That's over with. And Daniel and Logan and I don't know who in the world Jesse is. I didn't even know who Justin was. They said it was his brother. Well, anyway, they moved the daggum body. Hey, Lisanne. So, yeah, they did. Yeah, they wanted plenty of time of cleanup and all this. I mean, that's just common sense. And finding new stuff every time they go into the woods, I mean, I would get pretty fed up with that quick too. No.
Graves, not children. Land-owned station isn't just a place where people mind their own business. It's a place where minding your own business becomes complicity. Population barely 100. Everyone knows everyone. Children can't disappear from communities this small without someone seeing, hearing, or knowing something. Yet when Lily and Jack Sullivan...
But yet, I heard Lily plain as day say lens. And I thought, what in the world is lens? And then I got to reading on in there, and it said Lansdowne Station. So that part of town or whatnot, they know about it.
Vanished, an entire town developed collective amnesia. Let me tell you about the neighbors who didn't hear Daniel and Malia frantically searching that morning. In a rural community where sound travels for kilometers, where a car engine starting can wake people 3 houses away, no one heard desperate parents screaming their missing children's names. Brian Ward drove the school bus past that white trailer every day after May 2nd. The children on board would press their faces against windows, asking if Lily and Jack had been found. Not yet, he'd tell them gently. But police are doing everything they can. Those empty seats in the front row, still marked with name tags, became a daily reminder of children who'd stopped existing without explanation. Ward remembered Lily and Jack as vibrant, noisy, present children. Lily's excitement screams that required gentle reminders to calm down. Jack's attention-seeking boot-throwing antics. These weren't invisible children who could vanish unnoticed. If you're from a small community yourself, tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because you'll understand how impossible this kind of secrecy really is. Madison Spears lived just 1 kilometer up the road. Her young daughter had played with Lily and Jack. After the disappearance, she kept her children closer to home, understanding instinctively that something was terribly wrong. "This hits really close to home," she said, then repeated it for emphasis. Really close to home. The repetition wasn't just for impact. It was fear speaking. When children disappear from communities this small, everyone becomes suspect and everyone becomes vulnerable. But the community's response revealed something darker than fear. It revealed knowledge. Lissa Scott's trail cameras became crucial evidence, but not for the reasons you might think. When RCMP major crime officers requested footage, they didn't just want May 2nd recordings. They wanted everything from April 27th forward 5 days before the children were officially reported missing. Scott's cameras captured every vehicle that traveled Gerlach Road during that critical window. Every neighbor going to work, every delivery truck, every visitor. The digital record created an airtight accounting of who was where and when. But it also captured who wasn't there. No small children walking hand in hand at dawn on May 2nd. No family members conducting frantic searches. No vehicles racing up and down roads looking for missing kids. The cameras recorded normal rural activity right through the morning when 2 children supposedly vanished. Either Lily and Jack never left that property on foot, or they left at a time no one was admitting. Scott mentioned something that should terrify every parent. RCMP asked about our family's vehicles to rule out local traffic. They needed to identify every legitimate vehicle so they could focus on ones that shouldn't have been there. What vehicles were they tracking? Who had been in the area who didn't belong? What did the traffic analysis reveal about the true timeline? Possibly they're wondering if they didn't go missing earlier, Scott speculated, or maybe somebody who isn't local to the area was around beforehand. The officer's response was chilling. They probably should have been around earlier. Translation: they knew something had happened before May 2nd. They knew the official timeline was false. They knew children had died or disappeared days before anyone reported them missing. The community's wall of silence wasn't protecting privacy. It was protecting secrets that would destroy lives if revealed. Daniel worked 1 day a week but supported a family of 5. In rural communities, everyone knows everyone's financial situation. People talk about who's struggling, who's getting help, who might be involved in unreported income activities. But no one asked how Daniel managed. No one questioned the economics of the household. No one wondered about the source of stability in an obviously unstable situation. That kind of collective blindness doesn't happen naturally. It's cultivated. It's maintained. It's enforced by people who have reasons to stay quiet about what they know. The local school presented its own mysteries. Salt Springs Elementary had just 86 students total. Teachers know every child, every family situation, every dynamic. When children miss multiple days, someone notices.
Domino's Best Deal Ever is back. Any hand-tossed pan, thin crust, or New York-style pizza with any toppings for just $9.
One notices. Yet Lily and Jack's absence during their final week went unquestioned. No truancy calls, no wellness checks, no follow-up with parents about extended absences. In a school that's small, every child matters. Every absence gets attention, unless someone had been told not to ask questions. The community's response to media attention revealed another troubling pattern. Instead of opening up to help find missing children, people shut down. Few would speak on camera. Even fewer would be quoted by name. This wasn't just rural reticence or media shyness. This was a community protecting itself from scrutiny that might reveal uncomfortable truths about what they'd known and when they'd known it. Warden Robert Parker described the mood as anxiety and frustration. But anxiety about what? Frustration with whom? Were people anxious about missing children or about investigations getting too close to sensitive information? The vigil that appeared outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment told its own story. Flowers, stuffed animals, cards, all the normal expressions of community grief. But vigils typically happen after deaths are confirmed, not while children are still missing.
Did you hear that? Visuals are typically not done while someone is still alive, only if they are dead. So when they started doing these visuals, what exactly reckon did that whole town and everybody up there know? What did RCMP know? I kind of thought it could be. I've thought about that, about them doing them visuals. I mean, I don't know if any of y'all ever watched Adventures with Purpose or not, but they're a good team. They're an underwater team, and they find a lot of missing teens and adults that either have had accidents or suicides or whatnot underwater. They After they get through, and if they find the remains still left in the car, then after the proceeding with the coroner's office and all this, then they hold a visual, not before. No. Somebody named Mike. Well, that's good. Yeah, just tell them that. Yeah, you did the right thing.
The community was already mourning while officially maintaining hope. They were grieving while publicly supporting search efforts. They knew something they couldn't say out loud. Even the railway workers showed awareness of the investigation's seriousness. When freight trains passed the search area, they slowed out of respect for the ongoing missing persons case. Engineers and conductors knew that children were missing from this specific location. In communities this small, information travels faster than official announcements. People know what's happening before authorities confirm it. They understand implications before experts explain them. The collective knowledge meant everyone understood this wasn't really a search for living children. It was a recovery operation waiting for bodies to be found. But the community's silence went beyond protecting investigation integrity. It was protecting people, relationships, and secrets that extended far beyond one missing children case. What did Landone Station know about the Sullivan household? What warning signs had been ignored? What reports hadn't been made? What interventions hadn't happened? The answers were hidden in a community conspiracy of silence that valued loyalty over truth, privacy over protection, and secrets over children's safety. That silence killed Lily and Jack Sullivan long before their bodies disappeared. And that same silence was ensuring their killers would never face justice. The digital hunt wasn't just tracking electronic evidence, it was mapping.
See, there you go again. They are not talking about missing children now. Okay? So, that's in the past. That is in the past. They just want the body. Who's to say that RCMP has not already found Lily's body? We can't say that because we just don't know. The only thing that we know is that she don't know where she's at. She don't know how to describe it. But if you was a 6-year-old kid and something happened to you, your world turned upside down and you were in a unfamiliar place, you wouldn't know what to say either. Yeah. And anybody that hits y'all up to want to ask about questions, tell them to come here. You did the right thing, Alice. Y'all come here to watch my show. We listen to one of these things or a few of these things sometime, and then we listen for the kids and see what they say about the matter. Then we can say, okay, that was a lie, or this is true, whatnot, such as that. But yeah, anybody that asks any question about a case that we're working on, tell them straight up front, go to John Southern Vlogs and sit and listen. Now, again, they even halfway in of what time period has already been. They are not looking for missing children. He said at that time they were looking for the bodies. Now, which this was, I don't know when it was, but now it could only be body if they haven't already found Lily. We know, okay, we know that they found Jack. Terrible. But RCMP know more than they are saying. They told us, the public, that they would tell us some, but not everything, because it'd be crucial to the case. And for Logan, it would depend on the cause of death if he would get manslaughter 1. Because apparently the only one he played any in with is just Jack's that we know of. Him and Daniel taking the body up there and putting them around them rocks. But now, Lily's deal, and I believe you're right about giving them something. And I'll get to that just in a minute.
A community's complicity in covering up crimes against children, and everyone involved knew exactly what they were hiding. There's something you need to understand about how guilty people speak. They can't help themselves. Despite every attempt to control their narrative, Their words revealed truths they never intended to share. Daniel Martel and Malia Brooks Murray's language patterns in the days after May 2nd created a psychological roadmap to what really happened to their children. Listen to Daniel describe the search efforts. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones. Notice anything?
I remember that. I remember when he was talking about that. He beat the planes and drones and you name it. But he hollered so much he lost his voice. He was wading waist deep in all that old muddy water up there. But when the sheriff pulled up, he come out of the woods dry as a bone. There, so they thought that was a little suspicious. If you're standing on it, probably waist high, probably something like that. Didn't have much of a bow to it, I don't think. I think it was flat. Some steel underneath, wood on top. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's not describing searching for living children. He's describing performance. Running ahead of helicopters isn't efficient searching. It's theatrical searching designed to be witnessed and documented. Professional searchers work systematically, methodically, in coordination with air support. They don't race helicopters. They don't outrun drones. They work together to eliminate areas and focus resources. Daniel was describing the actions of someone who knew searching was pointless but needed to be seen making the effort. His description of running through waist-deep water until his throat hurt from screaming paints him as a desperate stepfather. But his clean clothes and unmarked appearance hours later contradicted every word.
I mean, make that make sense to me. That, you couldn't turn there one of them upside down and shake them and, without everything in the upper half rattling. That's just stupidity. And why would you say something such? I guess he was surprised, though, when the sheriff pulled up, though. I guess he thought he'd have time to, well, he wasn't ever out there looking away. But I guarantee you, if he walked in the woods that day, he was checking to make sure that little dome arbor thing was still standing to make it look like that's where the kids were playing. He was not in no water, not one bit. So that I've seen murder suspects. I mean, cold-hearted lie better than this nut job. So, all that's going to go against them when this is brought out, in trial. They're just building up their case higher and higher by just being stupid and mean.
Word. You don't spend hours in wilderness terrain and emerge without a scratch, a stain, or a torn piece of fabric, unless you weren't really in the wilderness at all. But the most revealing language came when Daniel shifted into analytical mode. They're easy to take, he said about his stepchildren. If they had made it to the road, they would have gotten into any car that offered food or candy. This wasn't a grieving parent's plea. This was criminal profiling. He was explaining how someone could abduct children, not begging for their return. He was describing vulnerability, not fighting for rescue. Parents of genuinely missing children don't calmly analyze their kids' susceptibility to kidnapping. They scream for anyone listening to help find them. Malia's language revealed even more disturbing patterns.
She said she wasn't going to search for a damn thing. That was her very words.
24 hours of reporting them missing, she was using words like sorrow and grief, terms reserved for mourning confirmed deaths. not searching for missing persons. We're all filled with pain and sorrow, she said while children were still officially missing and searchable. Grief is what you feel when someone dies. Worry is
while officially still missing.
what you feel when someone disappears. The psychological distinction is crucial, and Malia's word choice suggested she was already mourning children the world thought.
But she's the one that had them to haul him off, if not both. I believe 110% that Lily seen what they did to Jack and heard every bit of it. I think what happened to Lily is one of the boys, whenever she had her back turned, I think that's when everything happened with Lily. Because they know from that point that she knew too much. She couldn't go back to school. That would start causing chaos. The only thing to do is have a missing children's plate out there, kind of sort of deal, and let it kind of fade out. Thinking that'd be the only way they could get out of it. This is not my first rodeo either, and I look into what they're saying, but I listen to how it's being said. And I'm telling you, when I rewrite this and put this in order, now I'll probably make a short clip of this, and I'll probably title it Details or Shock Details from Jack and Lily Sullivan. That way, more people will prayingly start turning a good ear instead of a deaf ear to this. And yes, me too, Judy. I mean, I don't think it's right to take anybody's life, but there is times you have, if somebody broke in your home, okay, and I'll use me for an example. If somebody broke in my home and I know I'm here with her and I give them opportunity to go on and they didn't go on, I mean, I'm going to put lead in them. All right. Back when mother was alive and I had both the elderly, if somebody would have broke in, I wouldn't have said a word. I would have just started putting lead in. I mean, that would be the only reason to ever have to kill. Or I was raised these two reasons to kill: for survival and for food. And that's it. And this here was selfishness. They got irritated. Probably somebody dissed them about their stuff not being good anymore and caused an uproar, and Daniel being jealous, and whoever she was seeing had spent the night over there and stuff, and everything was going haywire. That's what the mom was hearing, screaming and hollering about. And whenever it was over with and they done off with Lily, that's when she run to the car and sat there and cried and pitched a fit for 45 minutes. She was not seen standing down there at the end of the road walking back and forth. The camera plainly stated that just a minute ago, that it did not see her walking up and down the road. So that's bullcrap. After they finally got her back in the house, that's when they all sat down and tried to figure out a way to discard everything. And the children even spoke on it before it was ever even mentioned. Now, you can go back from day one when they started this case, and I guarantee you, you can see about 9 days now. We've done got the full story, and they're going on what, 4 months? That ought to tell something.
Were still alive. Both parents began using past tense almost immediately. Jack loved bugs and dinosaurs. Lily loved girly things. They were awesome kids. Not Jack loves bugs. Not Lily is kind. Not they're awesome kids. Past tense indicates finalized knowledge. You don't accidentally slip into past tense about living people unless you know they're dead.
And he hated them children. And them children knew it and felt it. And that makes Malaya lower than scum to have a person in their home that despised their children that much. So that dog wouldn't hunt with me.
Daniel's most chilling statement came during media interviews. I just hope they find something. Not them, not my kids, just something. Parents don't hope for something. They demand their children. They beg for their children. They never accept substitutes for their children. But Daniel had already mentally moved beyond finding living kids to finding evidence. He was hoping for closure, not reunion. He was seeking answers about what happened, not working toward bringing them home. The linguistic shift from rescue vocabulary to recovery terminology happened immediately, before any search efforts had been exhausted, before any...
There to tail end, his phone pinged right along there where at bridge and all that. And I guarantee you, he went back up through there to make sure that either just Jack or Jack and Lily both, I don't know. But I do know Jack, to make sure they're still where they put them. And apparently wouldn't. And it pinged there, and then it pinged about, I think, 2 miles from my house. And then for 3 days, his phone was turned off. No tracking, no nothing. So, yeah, he got very, very nervous. Very. Because if you put something somewhere, especially a body, and you go back a few days later to make sure it's still there, and it ain't, I mean, you ain't got 2 options here. Animal done got them, or they already, been found by the authorities. And I bet he ain't got no fingernails left on his fingers, chewing them off. I'm telling you, Durwood screwed him on this deal because they wouldn't let him in on this. And that's what started this whole mess, you see. And I still say to this day, if Daniel could find Durwood, he'd kill him. I believe he would, because they know their life's over anyway. But still, I don't know about other people, but I know me. I would voluntarily lay my life down to save a child. If one needed a heart and mind fit and worked, they could have it. There's people out there that wouldn't do so. But I would. When it comes to children and abuse, even to the elderly, if it don't touch you, you just don't have a heart in you, period. And these children, the only way they could ever plead out was by showing the bruises. Probably walking on eggshells around in the house. Standing outside with any bottoms on. getting choked and whipped, and probably her hair pulled and whipped and stuff without, while the bridges was off, with no telling what. Tossed around in bathroom from here to there, and then
Reasonable time frame for survival had passed. Malia's description of that final morning created its own psychological profile. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. The phrase "what happened" was typically introduces explanations for known events, not descriptions of mysterious disappearances. It's the language you use when you're about to explain something you understand, not something that confuses you. She wasn't describing a mystery. She was reciting a prepared story. Daniel's interviews revealed another pattern. He spoke about the children like case files rather than beloved family members. Clinical descriptions of their behavior, analytical assessments of their vulnerability, strategic thinking about search procedures. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can.
Maybe they thought if they put them out past that. No, they did not. Maybe they thought if they put them out past from the inside of that old bridge with people not using it anymore, and the old trails not been seeing nobody walk them in years or whatever, that's probably what made them think to go to that area. Well, everything happens for a reason. And then guy walks up the daggum hill, there lays a skull. I mean, what else is he gonna do? I mean, he called 911. All right, they found the sleeping bag, plain as day. But there's a catch to this. Said that they found clothing of Jack and Lily scattered around up and under some of that dirt and leaves and stuff. Not just Jack. Jack and Lily. Clothes. So, yes, they're definitely holding something back to blow us all away when they go to court. Because, well, yeah, that too, and if, well, like I said, it just don't have but just a little bit left. I'm gonna take you I'm gonna take you through all of it, and that way y'all can have a good understanding of what was being said and how it was being said. And then right after that, then we're gonna turn Spirit Box on. I know it's already been about 2 hours. Uh, if you sleep or whatever, if y'all want to go to bed, that's fine. But I'm going to finish this. Um, I'm a night owl anyway, so y'all want to hang in here, then hang in here with us. Um, but I am definitely going to read this out, and if you guys want to, and you turn your uh, something on so you can record the reading. Uh, I'll read it slow if you want me to. You can write it down. Because this kind of stuff right here, in real time right here, this is going out nationwide, you know, and anybody and everybody can see this footage. But they need to be, once again, put in a proper angle, lettering ways to give the children's view on everything out to the public instead of just guesses. All this comes from the children, the Mrs. that is kin to these children, Rose, Summer, Um, they're even trying to help, and I will not turn my back to these children.
I didn't believe it until I tried it myself, but if you download the AliExpress app through this video, you can pick any 3 items that you want for a total
as they can. This wasn't a stepfather sharing fond memories. This was someone building a narrative about why children might leave willingly with strangers. When Child Protective Services barred Daniel from contact with baby Meadow, his response was telling, "At this point, I can't be around her." Not, "They won't let me see her." Not, "I'm fighting to get access." Just calm acceptance that authorities had deemed him unsafe around children. That acceptance suggests familiarity with the system. People who've never dealt with child protection services fight restrictions. They hire lawyers, demand explanations, challenge decisions. People who understand why they're being restricted accept the limitations because they know what authorities have discovered. The memorial that appeared outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment while children were still officially missing revealed community psychology. Someone left a white teddy bear and flowers without cards or names. Anonymous grief for children not yet confirmed dead suggests local knowledge that extended beyond what police were publicly sharing. The community was mourning while authorities maintained search theater. Daniel's media strategy became increasingly desperate as weeks passed. Instead of emotional pleas for his children's return, he focused on defending his own reputation. "I'm the only one here fighting for them, which is sad. Fighting for them, not fighting to find them." The linguistic distinction matters. He wasn't engaged in rescue efforts, he was engaged in legacy management. His final interviews revealed complete psychological detachment. "I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of my life to find these kids. That's the only goal I have at this point." The phrase "find these kids" creates emotional distance. Parents don't refer to their own children as "these kids." They say "my kids," "my children," "Lily and Jack." The distancing language suggested guilt, not grief. But the most revealing linguistic evidence came from what wasn't said. Neither parent ever described specific memories of their children from those final 72 hours. No bedtime stories, no meals together, no conversations, no moments of connection. When children die naturally or disappear genuinely, parents cling to final memories like treasures. They share last words, describe final hugs, replay precious moments obsessively. Daniel and Maliae offered no such memories because no such memories existed. The children had been gone long before May 2nd, and their final moments were too terrible to risk describing. Their language revealed what physical evidence couldn't prove. Lily and Jack Sullivan had died days before the world learned they were missing, and
Jack and Lily died days before the world knew they went missing. And anybody that's here in chat that is sitting here listening to every word that's being said, you just heard that. That's not my words, but we know it too. But this person knows it as well.
people responsible were performing grief while managing a cover-up that was falling apart under professional scrutiny. Words don't lie even when people do. And every word Daniel and Maliae spoke pointed toward guilt, planning, and knowledge of crimes they claimed never to have witnessed. Dr. Kim Rossmo, one of Canada's leading experts in geographic profiling, has analyzed hundreds of missing children cases. His conclusion about Lily and Jack Sullivan would make any parent's heart stop. This case violates every statistical norm for child disappearances. Let me break down the science of why this case is impossible. Children aged 4 and 6 have predictable behavior patterns when lost. They travel maximum distances of 1.2 kilometers before becoming exhausted. They follow paths of least resistance roads, trails, stream beds. They don't bushwhack through.
I'll be back just a second. I've got to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Dense forest. They don't climb obstacles they can barely see over. Most importantly, they leave evidence everywhere they go. If you've ever taken young children hiking, you know what I'm talking about. They drop snacks, lose mittens, tear clothing on branches. They step in mud, disturb vegetation, break small twigs at their height level. They mark their passage like unintentional breadcrumbs. The complete absence of any trace evidence from Lily and Jack Sullivan doesn't just suggest they didn't wander into the forest. It proves they never entered it alive. Dr. Rosmo's geographic analysis identified the statistical probability of 2 children leaving 0 evidence across 4 square kilometers of search terrain. The number is so small it's essentially impossible. But impossibility assumes natural circumstances. When you factor in deliberate concealment, the mathematics change completely. Bodies transported by vehicle leave no foot trail. Children killed before entering forest don't drop personal items during panicked flight. Remains buried or destroyed eliminate most trace evidence. The search technology deployed around Gerlach Road was sophisticated enough to detect decomposition gases, thermal signatures from buried objects, and ground disturbance patterns. The fact that none of this equipment produced results suggests either professional-level evidence disposal or removal of remains from the search area entirely. Thermal imaging expert Baldwin explained the technology's limitations during spring and summer. Trees, rocks, things like that retain heat and are very close in temperature to a person, making it very hard to distinguish what you're looking at. But he also mentioned something investigators couldn't discuss publicly. Thermal equipment can detect recent burial sites because decomposition generates distinctive heat patterns. Bodies buried in shallow graves create thermal signatures different from natural forest features. Were the false positive heat signatures actually detection of disturbed earth? Were drones identifying grave sites designed to locate? Mallier had isolated herself from her First Nation support system, moved to Daniel's remote property, and became financially dependent on someone who controlled.
Wait, I don't know about that. I'm going to read this just the way I got it to. It's true. Mom didn't want to see us. I was hit in the head. Yeah. I know they were together at the house. They waited in there there's like a creek. I seen them in their room on Friday. I seen them beat him. I know the rural area. I was hurt. Pillow. Yeah. Next to lake. Lily was injured a little. They won't see them anymore. Out in the country. I think a party on Thursday. Dig us out. They won't want to see us anymore. He is one maniac. A lot of country. It did. Yeah, both of us. Murder. Yeah. Mom's in it. Yeah. They were both angry. Smothered with a pillow. We both wore black eyes. He was angry. Some fella stepped in and said the little boy was funny. Yes, they lost color. Yeah, the mom. Yeah, they're blue. It's not, yeah. Remote area. Did it. Mile and a half in, woods, yellow, Jack. Too much blood on Lily. Stepfather and grandma faked it. They lied. Yeah, did. Can't believe he did this to us. He did. Mom was always angry. He would. Uh, he did. Killed. Yep, me. Yeah. Mom was just home. Dad, in your came in my room. Mom was bad to Jack. They both did it. And in the backyard with a pillow. I'm thinking that's when they burnt the pillows. Here, yeah, can. He's down a little from Jack. I can. Was in the yard. Lily at Deep Point. Hurt because of them being angry. Beaten to death. They will find them both 1 to 2 feet. Beat together. Put outside. Pink when we was asking questions about color. Truck. They did use a flashlight. Sawed foot. It hurts. Yeah, mom's evil. They know it was me. Got hit by mom. Need to be dug up. Yeah. A lot of blood. Off foot. Lily, yep, yes. Cereal, that's when I was asking, was they getting anything to eat in that basement? Scared. Uh, Scared to something or other. I don't know. SET something like UAL. Was in there. Yep, got whipped. Didn't deserve me. Bad when your own child tells you that they don't deserve you. Cannot talk. That morning, Durwood choked them and bruises. Yep, would you slap, hit them? Seen that, used his hand. And every bit of that was from Rose. They caught it. It's a crying shame. Janice auto clips. Knowing that she's sitting there lying like through her daggum teeth. Malaya hated Jack. So did Daniel. He and she is high. Yeah, Daniel mainly. I'm burnt just a little. Me did I could. Jack, yep. Durwood, yeah, Durwood. And then something about the pink coat, sheet, naked, dirty, need dug up, driveway did burn, my pink coat planted. Jack loved worms. Footstep. Me. Yeah, hey. Yeah, family. Mean as him. Both where I have been. Jack. Lansdowne Station. There's a lake. It was a bad home. Yep, Cody and cousin. Yep, died. At home. Yeah. Him and mom. Yeah. Mean. I was once woken up with a touch from his finger. Head found by river. Dismembered. Earl. Sick and mean. one at Grandma party, did it in a shed. There was a truck and Mom. It was cold. Uh, Mom didn't want either of us uh, some of Jack's teeth. Grandma, yeah. I tied a shirt around him. Yep, no, Grandma, yeah. He knew Jack was wet. Yep. Deep, broken neck, fell in too deep, can't swim. In bed with each other. Yep. Yes, I guess Mom and him got their wish because we're not here anymore. Okay, I'm Jack. I was, yeah, both beaten. Jack knows he killed her. Yeah, I need to be found. Strangled with a cord, bruised up stomach. I'm on a hill, uh, hitting the head with a hammer. Logan uh, found my cook toy August 8th. My coat, yep, sleeping bag. No, he did. Yeah. My red shirt, burned it. Yep, he did. Jesse, Justin, I wet herself. Spanked, yeah. Glad to be done with me. Yes, was beaten. Held up, choked, and whipped. I asked about what happened in the the shed. Uh, hold on tight. Just hold on. Yeah, right. Hit me. Got Earl in the back. He's here. Talking about Jack. And then head, and then I heard head again. So um, that right there is things that are in detail that not even authorities have even mentioned of. And we've got this information within about a 9 to 10 day period. Um, so they can't tell us no bunch of bull crap. Prayers, cool. Um, like I said, like the burnt shirt and stuff, that was said before we ever even heard anything about it. Bruised stomach, strangled with a cord, need to be found. Jack seen her when that happened to Lily. Um, Logan, uh, Jesse, Justin, Cody, Grandma, um, Cindy, um, just on and on and on. Yes, that's them telling things that they went through the last little bit of their life. Now, there ain't no way anybody could tell me if you're in your right mind. No matter how frustrated you are from work or whatever, you leave work at work, you leave home at home. Again, drugs will destroy your family friends, and you will lose the love of your children. And you have to build back up, and it can take months and years to ever build trust back up with your children. But in this route, it was the latter part of the deal. They wasn't given that chance. Yeah. Yeah, it's pathetic.
So that.
Stop cracking.
Felt what cracking?
Yep.
And also, brutal game.
Let children speak. Basement.
Suggested. Men.
Justin. What happened in the basement? What happened in the basement?
With one person.
Let the children speak.
So you. Papa.
Your butt what? Was bruised.
Wait.
What?
Who's Wayne?
Sounds free.
Yeah, I know it was Jack. I mean, I know what happened to Jack.
To what?
Let the children speak. You can be here after I get through speaking with the children. Do you remember Earl?
Socialists. Alive.
Oh, Jaylee. Plus one. 2 plus.
Hold tightly. She was what?
2 pounds. To put the.
So you remember Earl?
Nelson.
And you
It's me.
let the children speak. Let the children speak. You felt your cooked toy.
Zachary. Punch it.
No, Zachary. Wait. Yes. I got a kind of funny question for you. Have you and Jack been playing with toys at home?
What are we looking?
Let the children speak.
No.
Have you guys been playing with your toys at home?
They cook
Today.
Are you cooked? Have you been moving any toys around?
There's racing
at home.
Bugger.
Let the children speak.
silver.
Can't we?
Wait.
Come on, bug.
Let.
I'll be right.
real.
Did you say you found a bug?
Did you?
Wait. Let the children speak. Have you and Jack been moving toys around, playing with them?
Well, the rest is
at home?
Through the fun.
Have you been?
Steve.
Have you been playing with a truck?
Politics.
Were you playing with it there at home?
Win.
Have you been? Wait. Have you been playing with toys at home? Let the children speak. And you're going to do it again? Well, I think that one time's all it took.
Yeah, mine.
I think you kind of spooked Daniel a little bit.
Phil.
Is he right?
Okay.
Is he right? Because well, put the and laid.
And laid where?
Put the book and laid
The lake. I know Jack was found close to a lake on a camping trail. I mean a hiking trail.
I know.
I heard a female say disfigured.
That.
Murray.
Cup fun.
Yeah, at Twitter.
Well, we'll talk about other children in a little bit. Let's hear from Jack and Lily Sullivan.
Anyway, so people
I agree.
As well, look.
Lily, you said
treated.
you said strangled with cord? Lily,
There were
hear me, Lily. Let the kids speak.
Not.
I'll change it. Let the children speak. Yeah.
the change that was.
Two gasps of breath right there.
Did this
Bruised up stomach. What did Justin do?
Yeah.
Let the kids speak. What did Justin do?
Imhill.
On the hill. Okay. Let the kids speak. Lily, what did Justin do? Hold. For you to hold on tight?
But
Because said that.
Lord. Put me mind.
Hey, that.
Hey, Donna. Yeah. I don't doubt that, Lacadian.
In terms of
change this over. We heard a pretty good bit right there, but I'm going to change to a different one. Reaching out to Jack and Lily Sullivan. Lily, Jack Sullivan. Can you hear me, love? Okay. Can you tell me what Justin has done? Lily, can you tell me what Justin has done to you? Be dragged. Lily, what happened to you out in the shed? Lily, Lily Sullivan, what happened out in the shed? Let the kids speak. He told you to hold on. Jack, yeah. Girl was what? If you know anything, tell it. Was Earl with you in the shed? Lily? Was Justin with you in the shed as well? Lily, hear me, love. Was Justin in the shed with you as well? Wait. Let these children speak. Was Justin in the shed with you? He did. Well, I've got it written down here. I heard that whisper. I hope y'all heard that whisper. Is that why he was saying? Is that why he was saying hold on tight? Okay. Rose, you said and burned. Jack and Lily Sullivan. If there's anything else that you guys can think of that you have not yet said, feel free to talk to me. I'll listen. We all will listen. Yeah. It's good to hear from you again. What about Earl? What about Earl? He tricked you? Who took? Did Earl take your life? Lily? Lily? Did Earl take your life? Let the kids speak. Lily, did Earl in the back? Was he in the back with you? Okay. Lily, you said that you were hit on the head. And someone used a cord. Was that in the kitchen or the living room? Your bedroom? Let the children speak. Were you and Jack put in a closet? Let her speak. Lily. Wait. Lily. Lily, were you and Jack put in a closet? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lily Sullivan, can you tell me? Okay. Can you tell me, Lily, where you are right now? Daniel knows. I know. But I'd really like for you to tell me if you kindly know where you're at. Lily, are you in a field? Are you in the woods? Are you in water? Are you in a water container? Where? Where could this be found? Lily Sullivan, could you swim? Lily Sullivan, hear me, love. Did you know how to swim? I heard a whisper said he was all about the money. You talking about Durwood? Are you talking about Durwood? Are you guys talking about Durwood or Darren? About any for the money? What about the shed, Lily? You and Jack, I understand. You're. I understand. You don't. I know it was a screwed up family. You're not telling me something I don't know. But look here. We need to know if you've been found. We know what's happened. We've heard you. I wrote down everything. And I would like to know. I would like to know if you've been found by some people, some cops or some searchers. Lily, have you been found yet? What's not sturdy? Let these children speak. Don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Mimi says, hello, Lily and Jake and Summer. Lily, is there any way you can describe to me what it looks like around you? So finished it off with a pillow. I understand. I totally understand. And trust me, I have wrote every single thing down. And yes, it was about money. Yeah, you are absolutely correct, love. It's about money, and that's a shame. You guys should have been more loved than love for money. there's a lot of things out in the world, not much, but there's still a lot of things that money can't buy, and that is pure love. It was a hate crime. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Rose, you said you seen an officer. Can you see what's around Lily? Can you explain where she may be? Let her know. Let Lily know that she can tell where she's at, and none of the mean bunch is going to find her. They're all up at the jailhouse, and she can tell us where she is. And once she tells, I can guarantee you 1,000% that no one, and I do mean no one, bother you, period, or try to move you or anything. You got my word on it. Yeah. Now, Lily, I know that no, they didn't deserve it. I know that it was way up in the night, early morning when you guys were moved out of the house. Can you try your best to tell me what you can see around you? I'm talking. That's fine. You're with me, but what I'm talking about is your body. Your body, has it been found? We will talk about all them other people later. Lily, have you been found by authorities yet, Lily? You tell her to hush again. I'll have baby on the grass so fast it'll make your head spin, boy. Lily. Lily. Has authorities found your body yet? What? So you went back home to the trailer to play around and carry on. But I'm talking about your body, love. Where is your body? Was it in water? Was it in some kind of container? Like a barrel, or you said once something looks like a tank or something. Let the children speak. Rose, can you see anything around her? And can you tell me if her body has been found? Wait. Rose, has her body been found yet? Y'all quit butting in. Let Rose answer the question. Rose, can you see if Lily Sullivan's body has been found? The law. What about the law? Rose, have you seen her? Have you seen her and Jack back at their home playing? Have you seen that, Rose? Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. So now we need to know if her body has been found. If it has, apparently it won't take long for them to get results back and they can put things out to the public. Quite a bit of things happened in the shed, if you get my drift. Hawkins County is getting a new sheriff. They need one. Yeah, they were a lot going on in that shed that I'm sure you can use your imagination of. Yes, now that they're in the jailhouse, see, thing of it is what had happened was they put motion sensors into the trailer, and sometimes they'll go off, but there ain't nobody in there. But come find out that the kids are in there playing with toys and setting the thing off. And apparently, before Daniel got locked up, he seen it, and he got out of there. So that was cool on their behalf. So right now I'm going to set 50-50 that, that, that she could have already been found and they've sent off for examine. Maybe there's something else that they're trying to match up, say maybe because they talked about Jack's teeth, and they said that they found some child remains in a well somewhere, and they could be seeing if them teeth match up with Jack's or something. I don't know. But if they indeed do have Lily now, then it won't be long until they'll make a public statement, and then that's it. Then it'll start going to court. Yeah, yeah, it's pathetic. Mm. And poor little old babies. I am so glad the CPS took that baby. I tell you what, truth. It's it's it. They're as low can get. I don't think that sometimes Lily's mind ain't on exactly what we're talking about. I think if she, even up in her teen years, I think she would have uh, some sort of dyslexic uh, order. Seems to me like maybe she's not the type of person to have a one track mind. You know, you asked her a question and she could be 1,000 miles away when you ask that question. Um, then again, when she really wants to focus on something, she can give you a direct answer right then. Um, I believe now. This is my belief. Uh, I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure, but I feel that these children in spirit are back home because that's what they last remember. They, if the way it was done, per se, like taking the lives of them, the way it happened, it may have happened just so quickly that they in their mind could be, well, they'll be home in a little while, and for a spirit, their time zone is not like ours, nowhere near it. Um, with them in there, playing around with toys and stuff and setting off motion sensors and this and that and freaking Daniel out. I mean, that was awesome. But they may not even realize that he was even in there. Um, this was totally, plainly, straight up murder. Yeah, yeah. Look at them. So, um, who knows? They may, like I said, they may already have her and fixing to take his thing to court. Or maybe they did find some DNA, and DNA, a lot of time, if it's in a decomp state, that's what a lot of people don't realize is your blood can be also tested, see if it's in the decay stages. And if it is, that's enough right there to do both uh, manslaughter. Uh, that would be first degree premeditated murder on two children, plus uh, uh, messing around with a corpse. So, yeah, that whole bunch of Logan, Justin, Earl, Numbnuts, Malaya's mom, Daniel's mom, Cody. They 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 will all have to be gone to court. I'm sure they'll be summoned, and like I said, they won't get near the punishment that Daniel and Malaya and Logan and Numbnuts will get, but uh, it still won't make no difference. At least we know that this bunch will be out of the way of public, so they can't hurt any other children. And again, thank God that CPS took that baby. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I have no idea. Uh, Guys, I am going to go ahead and get off here. I've been on here nearly 3 hours. She goes in at 10 tomorrow, so I may come on around 11 or so and hang out a little while. I love y'all, and I will see you tomorrow. Keep an eye on your devices.